Do you think silver price is being manipulated?
It hasn't kept up with gold. In the last couple years, and historically they kind of rode together, so something's up with silver. Uh-oh, look at that. It just went negative as we speak.
Uh-oh.
There's the manipulation.
The worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
We're now down 43%.
This could be the most serious recession in decades.
Protect your retirement with gold and silver IRAs. Learn more at sdbullion.com/IRA.
Look how tall that sign is.
Right, I finally found something that's taller than Richard.
What's the sign for?
So we're going to be setting up at the fun show in Florida, in Orlando, Florida next week. It's Thursday and Friday that it's open to the public. So we'll be there buying at booth 636. We're going to be buying, selling, and it'll be nice to see everyone. We'll be buying, like it says, gold, silver, coins, currency, jewelry, and watches, and come by and say hi.
Well, there it is. And you actually have a little mini sign right here next to Harry.
Yeah,
That's for the table, right, Adrian?
Exactly.
That's awesome. So yeah, if anyone's going to be at the fun show, definitely go check out Harry's booth. You're not going to be there though, right, Harry?
No, I'm never there. I'm going to hold the fort here, but Adrian will anchor it along with Richard and Bill.
That'll be a fun show.
It is a fun show. Florida United Numismatists. That's what it stands for.
And look at this little mercury dime right there. That one is in a capsule, Harry.
Sometimes it's just how we bought it in the moment. Why open it up? Someone may enjoy having a mercury in a capsule, so we just leave it in that way.
For some reason, I feel like this one is worth more than all the other ones, but they're the same. It's just, it looks different.
It does add a perception of value, but I don't believe it's any key date or anything.
But nonetheless, a very cool coin.
If they don't come in over the counter, I've been ordering it from wholesalers around the country just to keep it in stock.
But I would venture to guess this one did come in over the counter.
Definitely that one, yes.
You know, Harry, gold is up over $40 today. It is making a move higher. You can see there, silver up as well. What do you make of all that?
I think it's possible that it's reflecting the optimism on Wall Street that Trump's big beautiful bill will pass the Senate, and in doing so cause taxes to be cut and all the other elements in there, and hopefully stimulate the economy very, very much.
Yeah, in addition, I've been seeing that Trump wants to replace Jerome Powell, possibly with Scott Bessent.
Yeah, there's no love lost between those two. President Trump feels that he should be already lowering interest rates. He's been resistant to that because of inflation fears. So there's a philosophical difference between those two, more than just personal differences, and I think he could find himself fired.
Do you think that if the Fed does decide to lower rates, with inflation still being, over 2%, that would be ideal for precious metals because it would create more currency, it would create more inflation ultimately?
Well, when there's more money in people's pockets based on lower interest rates, it tends to pump up sales in the retail locations, not just coins, but everything. So I think we would benefit from that as well as other retail locations. Our dollars are borrowed into existence. That's how they're created. I suppose you could take that, and there's a direct correlation between creation of money and money being out in the world in commerce, stimulating all kinds of businesses, including the coin business.
Do you foresee Jerome Powell lasting another year?
Not really. President Trump does what he wants, and he clearly doesn't like the guy.
Yeah, I saw it on Polymarket. You can actually bet on who you think the next one is going to be.
It's not as easy to fire him as, say, someone who's in the cabinet, but I believe ultimately he can do it.
Well, if the economy is booming, I would say that is probably really good for silver, because silver being an industrial metal, it kind of wants the economy to do well.
Sure, because silver will be needed in all kinds of applications that will grow along with everything else. Batteries, solar, automotive, electronics. So it's all good for the precious metals, I think.
Yeah, and Trump did finally sign that deal with China on the tariffs. Now that that is taken care of, that's another thing that could really help silver.
I think, too, the stock market's reflecting that all the hullabaloo over the tariffs, is calming down. Their deals are being made, and people are coming to the table with reasonable offers to our country and vice versa. And so those fears that were reflected in the first quarter's numbers are really gone, and the stock market's actually in a positive place now for the year.
Yeah, I saw the S&P 500 just hit an all-time high the other day.
Exactly. So even though things plunged in a scary way early in the year, it's more than turned around.
I would agree with that. Adrian, I want to ask you about the gold in the case. Last time I was here, you had probably over 10 ounces. It looks to be pretty scarce now.
Yeah, people have been buying gold. There was that small dip that we saw, and with the uncertainty going on in the Middle East, and it's all recovered from where we were at. We're up $42 this morning. Gold's been selling. People are buying it.
If I'm counting correctly, we have just under 3 ounces of gold here in the case. But would you say people are buying mostly gold or silver when they come in?
I'd say it's a mix of both. I mean, we're getting a lot of people coming in and buying silver because they feel like there's a lot of room for silver to grow, which I agree with. But also gold. Gold's been holding its own. I mean, we've had, like they said, that dip and the spikes, and it's holding its own. I mean, we're sitting at 33.46 as we speak, and people still see that value in gold and think it'll go higher. And there's a few people that made predictions that by year end we'll be at around $4,000 or more.
Do you think we'll get to 4,000 this year?
If you told me at the beginning of the year we'll be at 33.46 right now, I'd be like, but here we are. We're up quite a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I remember buying gold for like $1,400 an ounce.
Oh yeah.
So this is kind of wild to see it this high.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I remember getting the 50 peso, the Centenarios, for $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember even under that. I mean, when I was a kid, I'd go with my dad to it was a indoor swap meet, and they had a jewelry store, and we'd go see the Centenarios because, Dad, I want to see the Centenarios, and they were like $400 or $500, and I was just like, man, that's so much money. And now look at it, over $4,000 for a 50 peso. It just shows you what gold can do and how it keeps up with inflation and with time. I mean, I always tell people, if you're gonna put money into gold and you're gonna just hold it, I mean, it's no wrongdoing in that. And just with what Harry was talking about, and with the interest rates, I think if interest rates are cut, it is going to stimulate the economy. And we'll get a lot more people that'll have the extra money to buy some silver, buy some gold. So that might also put some pressure on the upside for metals. It's definitely a good time to buy.
With the price up $41 this morning so far, you'll see a lot of people come in selling gold to us. So that tray will be filled up by the end of the day. People are astute and they're watching the numbers. And when there's a bump up like this, people tend to bring it in and sell.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you. Adrian was just telling us that you're going to be at the fun show this year.
Absolutely, I never miss it.
What are you looking forward to most about that show?
The summer fun's not quite as big as the winter fun, but you get a great collection of dealers from all over the country. You just get to see a lot of things that you don't normally see, buy a lot of things that might not come in over the counter. Trade coins and information.
Speaking of things you don't see every day, you actually have some unique coins in the case. This one here is from the band Queen, but I just want to note that there is a queen on the reverse and a queen on the obverse. So 2 queens on that one.
Double queen.
That is an interesting one. And then over here you have some crocodiles. Can we take a look at those, Bill?
Sure.
Now, I'm not sure. Are these ones from the Perth Mint or from the Australian Mint? Let's see. Oh, neither.
Yeah, it's a good question. They're issued for Tokelau, but I don't think it has an explicit mint mark on it.
Yeah, I guess down here it does say 1 ounce ABC Mint.
Yeah,
so
Australian Bullion Company.
that's the mint there. So, and it is 4/9 fine silver, but these are cool. And I've actually never seen these before in the shop. Did someone just bring these in and sell them to you guys?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff comes from stuff we buy over the counter. So it's nice to have a selection of stuff, and we like to put it out and show it. For example, like these crocodiles there.
Yeah, those are cool. One other thing that I noticed was that ounce of platinum is gone. That was there last week. Did someone buy it?
Yes, somebody purchased that.
If we look at the price of platinum, you can see actually the ask for platinum is almost exactly $2,000 lower than the price of gold, which is interesting. But platinum's kind of been on a little bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it, Harry?
It has. Today's not a reflection of that, but it's been on a tear, actually. It's past palladium. Look at that. I mean, that's very unusual. And it's well over $1,000 now and holding steady. So those people who were buying it at $800 and $900 got to be happy right now.
Yeah, I think the cheapest I bought platinum at was right around $900 an ounce.
Yeah.
So I could sell it for a nice little profit. And you know what, though? With the economy opening up again, that's probably going to be really good for platinum because it's also an industrial metal.
For sure, especially in the automotive industry. And just as an investment, I mean, look, it just went up $2. It's now only down $20 today, as we speak.
It's on the move.
It's interesting, though, a lot of days When gold is up, platinum's down, and vice versa. I don't understand why. Does you guys have any thoughts on that?
I don't think they're directly correlated, but I mean, if gold's a fear trade and platinum's an economic optimism trade, you would see why they would be inverse.
Probably silver would reflect the same because it's an industrial metal,
But at the same time, ultimately, they're both also inflation trades. So what's most interesting to me is silver being back over 36. I think that's like really bullish to be above that resistance.
Yeah, above 36. I've seen some people say could go to 40. Some people are saying 47 maybe this year, so who knows? You know, Harry, one thing I saw about platinum was that they actually changed the rules for the futures trading.
How so?
They changed the limits. I'll put it on the screen because I don't exactly remember all of the details, but people were saying that this was an attempt for them to kind of tamp down the price by changing the rules. That's pretty much just price manipulation, right?
Sounds like it to me. People are always accusing silver of being manipulated, and it's the first I've heard that platinum may be subject to that as well. Wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think silver price is being manipulated?
It's impossible to know, but it hasn't kept up with gold, in the last couple years, and historically they kind of rode together, so something's up with silver. Even at that, it's kind of broken out, as Bill said, above $36 and is hanging in there. So you can manipulate just so much, and then the market forces are always going to win out.
What do you think about silver price being manipulated, Bill? Do you think that's going on today?
I don't actually subscribe to that theory. I think gold's outperformance can be more ascribed to other factors like central bank buying and the evolution in like how mining production works. Most silver right now is produced not by primary silver mines, but as a byproduct of gold or copper mining. And so the cost per ounce to bring it out of the ground is pretty low right now. Those are two factors among many that I don't think that there's major manipulation going on. Obviously, people can spoof, but that's only going to affect like the 24-hour market. That's not going to affect it month over month or year over year.
What do you think, Adrian? Do you think silver's being manipulated right now?
I don't know if it's been being manipulated currently, but I know it has been in the past. People have actually gone to jail over that. Even recently, even within the past decade at least. I feel like it's being suppressed by these big companies that have interest in technology and other things that silver is used in. So I would say there's definitely some foul play going on.
Something's going on,
Something's going on, yeah. But just kind of like what Bill said, I can't really put my finger on it and can't say for sure. But if you ask me if I think it's going on, I think there might be some going on.
Well, I guess the bottom line is, Harry, we can't control any of that. All we can really control is what we buy and what we stack, yeah?
Despite all the conspiracy theories, I mean, if you've been stacking for a couple of years, you're up $20 or so an ounce. Uh-oh, look at that. It just went negative as we speak.
Uh-oh.
There's the manipulation.
The manipulation is going into effect right now.
There it is. But yeah, if you've been stacking, 6, 7, 8 years, you're in good shape, no matter what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. Well, as always, Harry, thank you so much for the time.
Silver Dragons.
Thanks a lot, Adrian.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks,
Harry.
Bill.